Hi, welcome to Diamond Custom Paint Shop. In this video, I'm going to go over compressors. Now, I'm going to go over two types of compressors that I used for custom painting. The first type is for spray guns, like this, high volume. And the second type is for using an airbrush, like this. Now, we'll first start with the airbrush compressors. This guy right here is the one that I kind of used for years, and it's a pretty good compressor. Things you want to look out for an airbrush compressor. Number one is to make sure it has a reserve tank on it, which is this part right here. This is what's going to hold your air. And the second thing you're going to want to look out for and get, if you can, is a twin piston, which are these right here. So that means you have two pistons working to pump air into this reserve tank. And then, so every time your air pressure gets low in these tanks, it senses pressure kind of getting lower. These pumps will kick on and keep your tank full, which in the end keeps you without running out of air in your airbrush. So yeah, those are the two things you're going to want to look out for mainly. The other things you can look out for is start looking at noise ratings on them, noise decibels, because I know this one is fairly loud. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of annoying if you're doing long projects, but it is what it is. When I was doing this, I put it in a closet, so I couldn't really hear it, and I just ran a longer air hose out to where I was working. So, cost on these. So this one like this right here, you can get one like this on Amazon for about 120 bucks, somewhere around there. So not too bad. For what you get. This one's I really like this one. Has auto off, so your pumps don't keep running. It shuts off when it reaches the air pressure. You can also get one from Harbor Freight, a cheaper one, for $99. And like anything at Harbor Freight, if you wait for a coupon or for it to go on sale, you probably get it for cheaper than that. And this is what they look like right here, the cheap Avante from Harbor Freight. So go ahead and check those out if you want to go that route. The route I am going with right now that I use, that I really love, is Black Widow just came out with this compressor about a year ago, and this is from Harbor Freight. This is going to run you $199, but you get a lot of features with this. That's kind of worth it for an investment if you're going to get into this. The first thing it has a tank on it, and it has twin cylinders or pistons. Not cylinders. It has twin pistons on top. It has two ports here where you can hook two air brushes up at a time. It has two regulators on it on the top here, and it has two water filters separators right here. Right there, they are right there. And then it also has two spots to hold two air brushes on the back here. It has an auto off feature. Also has gauges on the top here. Now, one thing to note with these gauges is they won't tell you the pressure right here coming out. We found that out. I kind of think they have these hooked up wrong backwards, because typically when you hook a gauge up backwards, an air gauge, it'll just tell you a pressure and you can kind of adjust it, but it won't tell you this outside pressure. So we have a sneaky suspicion they may have done something like that. But yeah, just know that if you buy this. But it's easy enough just to adjust the air pressure here, and if you're airbrushing, you kind of know, or you'll learn to know how to adjust your air, and it's just really easy right there to adjust your air. You don't need to really know exactly what the pressure is. You'll just do it by kind of how the feel is of the airbrush and how it's spraying. So yeah, those are the two. Those are three options I gave to get. This is the one I use. It's the one I used to use. So yeah, kind of up to you, your price range or what you want to get into it as, but those are all the pretty good options that I would go with if I was going to start out. The next thing compressor we'll get to is for spraying a spray gun. Now, these compressors will not support a spray gun like this, but this is a mini gun, but even like a big spray gun, regular spray gun with a 1.3 tip, these won't support it. This air will run out so fast, and then it won't be able to keep up with it. So you're going to need a bigger compressor for that. So the compressor I use for that looks like this, and it's a Husky 60-gallon single piston. And the only reason I kind of use that one is because I got it, I don't know, like 12, 15 years ago, something like that. And it's no reason to get a new one. It keeps up with anything I ever do with my air. So, but if I was to do it all over again, if I was just starting out, I'd probably go to Harbor Freight because that Husky now, if you were going to buy a 60-gallon Husky at the Home Depot, it's going to run you about $800. So don't go do that. Don't go to Home Depot. Don't go to Lowe's and buy an expensive air compressor. You don't need the expensive ones. Harbor Freight in the last couple of years have really stepped up their game. And so their compressors are really good. I actually have a 20-gallon I use in my garage that looks like this. It's just a single piston, but I've had to use, and I've had that thing for probably, I don't know, 8 years or so. And I've had to pull that thing out when my belt broke on my Husky one time in the middle of a clear coat session. And I had to drag it from my front garage out back and get that all hooked up between my flash times and finish my clear coat job. And I was able to do it with that. I wouldn't recommend it. You'll run out of air pretty quick. So you got to be kind of smart on how, if you were going to use something like that, you'd have to really make sure you got your ducks in a row when you're spraying. So like I said, if I was to do it all over again, I would go to Harbor Freight and I would buy, their McGraw series now, and they have a twin piston one, a 29-gallon, and it typically sells for $549. And like I said, most things at Harbor Freight go on sale or you get a coupon. I think I was just looking last week and they had a coupon in there for the McGraw series air compressors, and you got $100 off any of their McGraw compressors. So that would have put it down to like $450. So that's not too bad for what you get for a twin piston compressor. And if you get that you would be able to pretty much keep up with any kind of custom painting that you do that's smaller. Like if you're going to do on a car, I'm not a car painter. I do mostly motorcycles and helmets and stuff like that. So the biggest thing I ever do is motorcycle tank and fenders in one session, or if I'm doing a bagger, it'll be the bags, but I usually split that up too. So if you're doing a car, I don't know if it would keep up with that. You'll have to kind of research that, get with somebody that paints cars for a living. So yeah, you have the McGraw. And like I said, like I mentioned, I have that old Harbor Freight one, single piston, and I may do with it, but I really wouldn't recommend that. But you can get one of those for about $230 at Harbor Freight. And again, if you get a coupon, you get it for a little cheaper. So yeah, I've had a lot of the reason I'm doing this video is I've had a lot of people ask us, what compressors you use. So I hope this answers your questions for custom painting. That is, like I mentioned, if you're doing automotive or something bigger, get a hold of the experts on that, because I'm not an expert. I'll tell you that right now. So I'm just a beginning intermediate painter. So yeah. So then another thing when you're getting your compressors, that's critical, is you want to get some regulators and so you want to get an oil separator, which will separate any kind of oil that builds up from these compressors. And then you'll want to get a air filter or separator. This is what an air separator looks like. Has this little filter in there, and what happens is air passes through it. It traps the moisture in there and keeps it down in here. And they have drain valves on the bottom. You can drain out the water once it builds up in there. This is what I actually used with this compressor. I had this just screwed onto my airbrushing table. And so I had a hose come out of this into this and then out from here to my airbrush. And that worked pretty good. And then I also, on my airbrush, I always run another moisture trap right here before it goes into the airbrush. This just snaps on. You can see that's just right before the airbrush there, because a lot of times, even though this will catch a lot of the moisture from the compressor, especially if you're running long air lines like I typically do, you'll build up moisture in that air line also. So the last thing you want is when you're spraying urethanes is to have a splurt of water come out of there, which I've had happen when I haven't had this on. When I'm doing like long spray sessions, like if I'm using my trigger action gun, spraying some kind of smaller, big areas for airbrush, that condensation will build up in that hose. And so you have to hurry up and throw that thing on. So yeah, so you'll get and then on my spray gun, on my compressor, first let's start from the beginning on mine. So I go from my compressor, it's actually downstairs. This paint booth is upstairs in a shop. So in my downstairs, I have my compressor. And so right out of my compressor, I have an oil separator, which it looks similar to this. And then right next to it, I have a water separator. And then it comes up here and then runs through my hose. And then I'll put another water separator on right before my gun for any moisture I get from my compressor down there, which probably runs through 50 feet of copper pipe plus this 50 feet of hose probably. You'll build up moisture in that too. So yeah, that's all the material, compressors and regulators and stuff I use. Find out what works best for you for your budget. And then again, this is for just custom painting. If you're doing something bigger, find out from the experts there who or what to talk to or what to get. And so yeah, if you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions on this, just leave some questions or comments in the comment section. I can probably find the answer. I know some people that are in this business, so if I don't know the answer, I'll try to find the answer and get back to you and hopefully answer your question. All right, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.